I think we keep coming back to, in a certain way, mentioning the Gakpo-Diaz role share phenomenon last season. And I wonder if that's instructive. I'm just echoing Sean's point here, really. Whereas in an ideal world, he would have, let's in extremis, 22 players, all exactly the same level. I know that's not literally possible, but do you think he would like to re-engineer the squad so that he could say, I'd really quite like to be able to just take Mo Salah out? I know maybe I'm not the best example because they just put a lot of money in. Take him out and put somebody in who can do the job. Or take Gravenberch out, take McAllister out. So I know in certain cases you can say you can do that, and Wirtz adds a whole new dimension. But do you think that the direction of travel that he wants? He would like to be able to rotate, but he wants the total confidence that he's getting like for like when he does.
Yeah, I mean it's easier said than done, but I think generally speaking he would want no drop off between two players in each spot, and I think that was largely the case with Gakpo and Diaz. I think that will be the case moving forward with Frimpong and Bradley. I think there's this narrative that Frimpong's going to come in and start all the time, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be horses for courses and things like that. I think Slot maybe wants, say like 16 starters who are all about the same level, and you can lean on them throughout the season. And if you have to go beyond that, you really do drop a level and you go to like a Neone or something like that, and that's fine, because hopefully it never happens. Because the players that you're getting in to fill up these like second spots, like Frimpong for example, never gets injured. Links to Mark Gay never gets injured. So in that case, if you've got 16 players who are constantly fit, you shouldn't really ever have to go beyond that unless you're playing like an absolutely ridiculous number of games. But like on the chain stuff, I do wonder how much of it is Slot versus just this is Liverpool's way of doing things almost. Like you got to bear in mind Liverpool haven't really bought like a proper signing since like August 2023. It's June 2020. It's July now, isn't it? 2025 now.
Last big significant signing.
It was Gravenberch, yeah.
It's Gravenberch, yeah.
So you've gone a long time there without making a substantial addition. And I think generally speaking, I'm sure Liverpool did like some kind of study where, like, if you look at successful teams over the decades, over the years, and that the ones that are successful are the ones that largely stay together. So I think Liverpool will maybe be attacking this window. The bad news is, for the people who love transfers, I think moving forward the next couple of seasons we're not going to do much in terms of incomings. I think the idea is,
don't say that.
I think it's bad news for the gutter, like, but I think generally you smash one window. Kerkez is 21, Wirtz I think is 22, Frimpong I think 24, 25. But you re-establish that core.
Bradley becomes part of that conversation.
Bradley becomes part of it, yeah. And I think once you've attacked that window, you've got all the lads working together. They then get to know each other for the next couple of seasons, mature together, peak together, and you don't really have to do any substantial business until.
So is this Liverpool loading up then, Neil?
I think there might be I think there's more than an element of that. I think that's true. I don't know if he'll feel as though he's happy with 16. To Josh's point, yeah, it's interesting because obviously he says during the season he wishes he could put 11 on the bench. There's an interview where he says he'd like to be able to pick 22 on the bench because he doesn't like to leave anyone out. And Guardiola's been very vocal himself about that. And I just think that it may well just be a bit of a truism that if you feel as though you've got a really good group, they're all training well, it's hard enough to pick a team, but it's another thing entirely to say to someone, don't bring your gear on Saturday. You're not getting involved. And I don't think any of them want that. So I think where you end up, and I think where he may well end up, or they may well end up as a collective, is 8 defenders, of whom, and I do want to put this in inverted commas because there's a variety of reasons why I love him, but of whom your weakest is Gomez. 5.5 midfielders, of whom your weakest, in an ideal world, maybe Curtis Jones. Yeah. But going into next season, I think it's realistic to say it's probably Wataru Endo.
But that bar needs to raise, in theory.
I think that
should be Curtis.
But the journey as to where that ends up is a little bit up in the air. And 5.5 forwards, where your weakest may well be Jota. If you sort of go through, and then from there it moves itself along, and that's where you'd end up. And I think if you've got that, that's 19 outfield. and then you're picking a goalkeeper on the bench, and that's your 20, and that's that sorted out. You need that bit of versatility in there, and who's the 0.5? You can have a bit of a chat about how that's going to work. I think we'll know a sense of that by the end of the recruitment. But I think that is probably like some sort of platonic ideal of what it is that they want, whether or not they get there, because part of this becomes about departures as well. It becomes about sort of getting the offer in that you want, because the other thing about Liverpool is, we know, and we're getting examples of it at the minute, Liverpool sell on Liverpool's terms. Liverpool sell on Liverpool's terms. That's the beginning, middle and end of the matter. So if they don't get an offer they like for Elliott, there's every chance Elliott's in my 5.5 that I've just described there. It may well end up being sort of a nominated half and doing a little bit of both here and there. And Liverpool hoping to protect his value as much as possible. But Liverpool will not sell off their own terms. So, and I think that's the flip side of the managerial point on Churn. He may agree with everything Sean just said about Elliott, the manager, but he may also be being told, well, if no one comes, our price point is X. Our absolute floor of that price point is Y. If no one comes in above Y, you've got him next season, mate. That's the truth of it, because that's how we do business. So, I think these are the...
That's a good point, that. I mean, I've thought about even the likes, you could talk about that with the Diaz, with the Gakpo, but even with the Nunes, I wonder, if nobody hits that mark, we could be watching Darwin Nunes next season. They're not just going to let him go, as an example.
I agree with that. I think that might be one where, though, there's then a conversation about... It wouldn't surprise me if, and I don't want to sort of overstate this, but by the end of the season, it wouldn't surprise me if that could be the one where the manager says, I could just do without him on the training ground.
I hope you're enjoying this free show at the moment. Loads of excellent, exciting stuff on the Anfield app. If you want to be part of the whole thing, you can download the Anfield app and go from there. Or you can subscribe via the YouTube membership as well for video-only content and other bits and pieces. We love doing these shows. We love that you watch them. So come, be part of the journey with us.